The year is 1993. It's November. Grandmama and Steve team up to win the 2-on-2 city basketball tournament.
Tough break. We win.
Steve and this jerk should play for the final point.
What about me? I'm not hurt.
You could be.
Street Fighter II Turbo and Doom are all the rage. Addams Family Values is the top movie at the box office.
We won't stay fresh for very long, so we ask you for it, finish this song.
On Thanksgiving Day, the Dolphins win a nail-biter in Dallas.
The Dolphins pull it out. 16-14.
And Meatloaf won't do what?
But I won't do that.
One thing is certain, Roy Rogers has a hit with their Roy's Roasters.
Welcome to Roy Rogers, where the chickens come home to roast. Right now, get a quarter roaster with cornbread and your choice of 2 sides for just $2.99. Or feed a family of 4 with 4 quarters, cornbread, and your choice of 2 large sides for just $9.99. Take them back to the nest. Have a wing-ding. Roy's Roasters, the chicken that rules the roost.
One of a kind, yeah, yeah.
Hey, what's up guys? Welcome back to Retro Pop Planet, and welcome back to Discontinued Foods, the video series where I try to pick a food item long discontinued from a restaurant or a fast food chain and see if we can recreate it in my kitchen. So really this video series just gives me an excuse to talk about pop culture from a certain time period. And let me make sure my mic is on. I realized in the last couple videos my microphone wasn't working. And 1993 was a pretty good year as far as video games and music and movies. And I think the fast food chains are copping wise to us because a lot of these companies now are coming out with their own throwback menus. And I picked an item today from 1993, which I really don't see Roy Rogers ever bringing it back, and that is the Roy's Roasters. Not to be confused with rotisserie chicken like you would have gotten at Boston Chicken or Boston Market. This actually predates it a little bit, and it's roasted, it's not rotisserie. So this was a menu item I got all the time, and I don't know when it actually went away. For some reason in my mind, I feel like it actually came out a little bit earlier than 1993. And we got our first Boston Chicken before it was Boston Market. We got a Boston Chicken around like 94, 95. And that was my first real introduction to rotisserie chicken. And of course, all the grocery stores started picking up on it. And then Roy Rogers was purchased by Hardee's. Our local Roy Rogers actually turned into a Hardee's for maybe like a year, and McDonald's bought that location, and it's still a McDonald's today, although the building looks completely different than what it looked like when it was a Roy Rogers. This is actually a super easy meal to make, but I did experiment with this for several months, and I really had a hard time getting the crispy skin that they would have gotten in the restaurant grade commercial oven. I just couldn't quite get that type of texture that I wanted with the chicken. I couldn't cook it enough in my own oven. I was roasting it and then I tried baking it. I also tried roasting it and then putting it under the broiler. That got a little bit too crispy. And it wasn't until I bought the Ninja Wood Fire last year where I started experimenting with different types of meats, and I can really get as close to the restaurant as I can with this roasted chicken. So let's head out there and get some of those ingredients. My first stop is to my local Roy Rogers, which is really 20 minutes from my house. The restaurant chain has been making a steady comeback since they were left for dead in the 1990s. This location has been going strong since at least the early 2000s. And last year they went through a remodel. Gone are some of the kitschier elements to the decor in favor of this more modern, streamlined style. I kind of prefer the older style better, but I'm happy this place is still around. I'm here to buy my sides. I picked up mashed potatoes and gravy and the coleslaw. The only grocery item I need is the chicken quarters. $5 for 4 pieces is a good deal. I have Jiffy brand cornbread at home, and all I'm doing is following the mix and bake instructions on the package. My chicken prep is also fairly simple. I'm using a basic salt, pepper, garlic rub with paprika to give it some color. I'll set my Ninja wood fire to the roast setting and preheat to 350 degree F. The time doesn't really matter because I'm cooking to temperature. Once the oven is up to temperature, we'll lay out our chicken quarters, spacing them out so they'll all receive a nice cook. Roy's roasters were basted with honey. I started my basting process once the chicken hit 165 degrees internal. Dark meat is very forgiving, so I'm going to finish around the 175 degree mark. We'll pull those leg quarters off to rest, which will give me some time to reheat the mashed potatoes and gravy. All that's left now is to fix up our plate.
Let's go.
One of a kind.
Roy Rogers announces the arrival of Roy's Roasters. Honey-basted, slow-roasted chicken that will leave you speechless. It's so good. New Roy's Roasters.
One of a kind.
A one-of-a-kind place for a one-of-a-kind taste.
All right, guys, welcome back. See, it was pretty easy to make, and you could duplicate this in your actual oven. I just found that for me, it was easier to get a more consistent temperature from the Ninja wood fire, and the skin, I've sampled it, is pretty amazing. So this is actually my dinner tonight. I always make these usually around mealtime, so this is my dinner and I am starving. And you guys tell me that you actually want to see me eat on camera, which I think is weird, but we're gonna go ahead and taste test it right now for you. So Roy Rogers has a number of different sides available, pretty similar to the ones that were in the commercial. The one thing they don't offer anymore is cornbread. You can get a biscuit, which I actually wanted to get, but I do remember having cornbread with this back in the day. And before this thing cools too much, I really just want to get into the chicken. That's the thing I missed originally when I first made this in my test runs. I didn't realize it was honey basted. I couldn't quite understand why it didn't have that taste. That's all there. That is pretty close to what I remember. The coleslaw is always good. And then of course, pretty typical fast food mashed potatoes. That's all very good. That's actually a really nice way to make roasted chicken. So aside from the Roy Rogers connection, this recipe just stands on its own. And I will tell you, my regular go-to at Roy Rogers is actually the fried chicken. Okay guys, that's gonna do it for this one and for 1993. If you found this video and you like my content, I have a ton of different type of stuff here on the channel. If you like this video, please feel free to give it a like. Let me know if you remember this food item, if you were in an area with Roy Rogers. Was this something that you got back in the day? And would you actually like them to bring it back? And please feel free to hit that subscribe button for more nonsense like this. And that's gonna do it for me, guys. I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.